When a street urchin vies for the love of a beautiful princess, he uses a genie's magic power to make himself off as a prince in order to marry her.
Hi, I'm Andre.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Luis.
And we are the Walt Vault, a family-friendly podcast where we get silly and talk about Disney movies. Hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 18.
18. We are legal.
We are legal. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we made it.
Again.
We can buy cigarettes now, I guess.
No, technically you cannot. Fact,
Oh.
cigarettes are now up to the age of 21.
Oh.
Well, at the
Good.
time this movie came out, we could. I wasn't born yet when this movie came out. It's
We
fine.
can get into
Yes,
18
What year
and
did
up
this movie come
clubs.
out?
This movie-
1992.
We're
You weren't
talking about
born
Aladdin,
yet?
by the way. I was born in 93.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You're so young.
She's like a
I mean, I
baby.
guess I knew that. I knew that when we started
By
this
the way,
podcast, everyone.
Right.
We are talking about
We're talking about Aladdin,
Aladdin.
the 1992
Prince
animated
Ali.
Disney film.
Fabulous he.
Dum, bum, 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 ba-da, bum,
Ba-ba-dum, ba-da-bum.
But before we talk about that, we went to
Before we sing about
we
that.
went to Disneyland this weekend. Me and Michelle.
Oh, yes, we did.
And we hung out with a couple of podcasters down there, some other Disney folks. Shout out to everyone.
From
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. We hung out with some of the members of the Podcateers and some of their fans. It was fun. And then also, so we went bowling with them. And while we were at the bowling alley, we're good friends with a couple of guys who work at Disneyland. One of them works on Space Mountain, and the other one is...
Don't narrow it down. Too
whoa. Okay, well, I won't narrow it down. But we're friends with some people who work at Disneyland.
Yes.
And we got a text message while we were bowling saying, hey, are you guys in the parks? And we said, oh, we were, but we're not now. We're
We'll be back a
hanging
little
out. We'll
later."
be back a little later. He said, oh, darn, we're in Club 33, and we're going to have you come up. And I lost my mind.
So for those of you who don't know, Club 33 is a very, 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 very exclusive club
Did you go?
inside of
We're getting
Disneyland
there.
that only like celebrities
I hate
and,
you.
and very rich people can get into.
Emily and Luis haven't heard this story yet, so...
You have to get on like a 10-year waiting list to become
It's
a
very
member. and
expensive.
It's very expensive.
Who cares?
So when this guy
Me?
asked us if we were in the park and did we want to come into Club 33, we were freaking out.
I said, I'm on my way. I said, bye, Podcateers. I'm leaving. And they were like,
and
understandable.
they all understood.
Yeah, they
'cause
all
they
understood.
want to get in just as bad
But
as we do.
unfortunately, it was too late.
Yeah, he was
They were
already leaving.
they were on their way down. They were going to come
We
come
did
back.
not get into Club 33.
We did not get into Club
Well,
33.
good, because if everyone could see my face right now, I was about to smack
She-
somebody.
But-
Emily looks very jealous and angry.
However,
I'm not jealous. I'm going to
However-
smack somebody.
our good friend said that if we wanted to, he could make a dinner reservation for us in the future. So we might possibly be going to dinner at
so
Club
we
Is
33.
us
might
me?
be paying for
Us
a very
means
expensive.
us too. That we might be paying for a very expensive dinner.
Because he has to be
Okay,
with us.
whoa,
and a
whoa,
member
whoa,
has to
whoa,
be
whoa,
with
whoa,
us.
whoa.
He
We're
can
going to
only
back it
take
on up.
2 people.
Andre, she's known me longer. You just got kicked out of your dinner
Yeah.
reservation.
Yeah, that's true.
She has known me the longest.
Everyone has turned against me.
You, friend, I don't even know who you are. Who are you? Get off this
I'm a
podcast.
person that
You
wants to get into Club
know,
33.
Andre, in Emily's defense, she did introduce me to you.
No!
Nothing can top that, Andre.
Oh, Luis is pointing at his left ring finger.
Only one thing is that you gotta admit, girl, that's the one thing that can top
Oh my
you.
God, is someone getting engaged?
If that's
No?
what it takes for me to get
You
into
know what?
Club 33.
Wow.
FYI,
Playing.
we could be sister wives. Louis, put a ring on it. We're going to Club
Sister wives,
33.
get out of here.
Maybe he'll propose to me when we're having dinner in Club 33. Who knows?
That'd be a pretty.
Maybe.
That's too late. I'll already be there taking your spot.
And Emily proposes for him. Hey, Andre wanted to give you this.
Andre wanted me to bring this to you.
Andre wants you to have
He
this.
wasn't allowed in here, so he gave it to me.
I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but he said that he could make a dinner reservation for us.
A Disney
A
reservation.
A dinner. I can't even speak. That's how flustered
There's
I
no
am.
reason.
So
I don't even want to talk about this episode. I'm so upset.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And it's so
hot.
funny because I was going to text you when it happened, and Andre was all, no, we'll tell him on the podcast. I was like, okay.
Get your real reactions.
So
And
how do you
it's
feel about the fact that I might possibly
anger and
have
violence.
a small percentage chance of going to Club 33?
I wish you could see my eyes right now.
She's closing
they're
them.
very squinty.
Very
I look
squinty.
like Brock from Pokemon. Sadly, I know what that means.
So
I had to watch the In-Go League.
Not sadly.
Anywho, let's talk about Aladdin before I lose it.
So Andre and I are just peasants around Agrabah, possibly going to the castle.
Well, we're obviously worse than peasants.
Street
I don't buy that.
Don't buy that. Emily's so upset.
They just look close.
I'm not upset.
Would they see
Do
a
you?
poor boy?
Yes.
No, they'd see Emily on the street without a Club
Outside
33.
of Club 33.
God, this song is so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Song got
talking about
sad.
the 1992 animated version of Aladdin. I'm moving on so Emily can stop giving me daggers.
Oh, okay. Daggers in her eyes.
No
Yeah.
daggers
I
for
look,
me.
I look
about
like
the movie.
I look like Judge Doom when he got the daggers in his eyes. He's gonna kill Rabbit,
Roger.
whatever his name is.
Roger.
Don't make me choose.
Rabbit,
someone to
rabbit.
take.
Rabbit. Roger.
Anyways.
I can be a better husband. It's fine.
Aladdin is one of it is Andre's favorite Disney prince.
Well,
Is it?
yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it Hercules?
I think so.
He's not a prince. He's a god.
Well, if Zeus is like the king of the gods, then technically he's the prince of the gods since he's.
All right.
Well, I
Zeus's son.
mean,
But
that's debatable.
I
But then he
remember-
doesn't have a song with his name called Prince Hercules.
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 Well,
I would sing it.
that's true. I just know when I first met Andre, and I was like, "Ooh, you got to pass the test. Do you like Disney?" He was like, "Do I like Disney? Do
Pass
I?"
that test with flying colors.
Flying colors. That Aladdin.
Flying carpet.
When I had
colors.
asked you like who your favorite prince and princess movie was, you had said Aladdin,
Yeah.
which I think it still is. Correct?
It's just one of my favorite Disney movies. It's
In
top
general.
5.
Oh, it's top
Top
five.
Louise's eyes got so big.
Someone who doesn't know anything about top fives anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have
he's
any
past
room.
that.
Top fives have been obliterated.
It's Andre's
Might be
turn.
Andre's time for top 5. Yeah, this and The Lion King are
The what?
tied for top spot in the top 5.
Top spot in the top five.
Yeah.
So
So
Aladdin.
that's my
And
first impression of this movie.
After my first impression is after rewatching this movie, like it is so high up there on the animated princess movie level. It's not even funny. It has comedy. It has great music. Has a great storyline. So just rewatching it, I know I have seen the miniature Broadway version of Aladdin every time I would go to California Adventure which they no longer have, and we had also seen Aladdin on actual Broadway in San
Yes.
Francisco in December, and my first impression was why couldn't they have the monkey or Raja and things like that? I had kind of forgot about these side animal characters.
She wanted
which,
more special effects in this
which were
Broadway show.
great. I love them. What's your first impression?
Alan Menken.
Yeah.
That's just like the
Alan Menken,
Menken, the
and
man.
Ashman, who did the lyrics. I grew up on
Just-
Menken and Ashman.
Honestly, I think I said in the Little Mermaid episode that was my favorite movie music. I take that back. Aladdin. So good. Every song is masterful,
Yeah.
witty. The lyrics are
It's all
hilarious.
very good.
and very true to the characters. Each character's songs are very well
Yep.
scripted for them.
And fun fact, I had read a fun fact that this kind of marked the first movie where the actors didn't necessarily have to be the best singers. If you think about it, they're kind of sing talking. And is Robin Williams the most angelic voice of a song? No, he makes the songs comical. So it kind of
Right.
marks the new era of songs as well. So
Yeah.
they don't have to sound like this whenever they sing la 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 la. It doesn't be Prince Ali, la 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 la. So yes, I agree. The music are great.
I wish you guys could
Everyone's
have
just
seen that.
laughing
That
at
was
me, but
beautiful.
whatever.
It was gorgeous.
Luis,
Show's
what is
musical analysis.
your first impression of this Aladdin movie?
Aladdin.
I really like Aladdin. Aladdin is a classic, and truth be told, it could have just as easily been on my top 5.
Oh.
But not that there was anything wrong with it. I just really, the other movies, although they may not be very popular amongst all people, to me they kind of just overtook it.
Your top
but
5
Aladdin
spoke
is
to you
great.
more.
Great.
It makes sense why it's on Broadway.
Great.
Everyone's like, it's great.
Emily's laughing. Why are you laughing?
Everyone needs to know why we're laughing, because everyone's laughing. I'm not the only one laughing.
I know.
Luis, you may or may not know why Luis always sounds like... It's because he doesn't want to hold the mic next to his face.
Luis has some choice mic techniques.
So he literally was just talking, and he just took the mic...
He scratched his head.
And
with it a
scratched
little
his
bit.
head.
Kept talking. It's all good.
So there's that.
Well, when you have an itch, you have an itch.
True.
And this is the only
Wise
nubbins
words
that
by
can
Luis.
stretch
Yeah.
it.
When you have an itch, you have an itch.
Doesn't-
So
man
since
doesn't have two
Emily
hands.
was already talking about music, why don't we open with that this
I'm
time?
down with it.
because I got to talk about it too.
Yes.
This music, Menken and Ashman have to be two of the biggest Disney geniuses
What a caravan camels roam.
in the entire universe.
Fun
Fun fact, that's Robin Williams.
I was going to say, it's totally the genie in disguise, yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This whole story is a frame story told by a free genie in a supermarket, not a
In a
supermarket.
faraway place.
In a supermarket of Agrabah.
An Agrabah market
Which
merchant
is- yep.
outfit.
Clean
And,
up on
um,
aisle 3.
Fun fact about that, you know that opening scene, like after that song where he's like labeling all of the objects and like, do you want this? Do you want this? So what they did is they literally just put a bunch of stuff in a box and told him go.
That whole scene is improv.
Is improv. That
which is
entire
amazing,
scene.
because he's like telling a story too. Like
I love
It's
it.
insane.
He
Robin
has a
Williams-
hookah coffee maker and a set of Dead Sea Tupperware. So funny.
Robin Williams
goes,
is a comical
Still
genius.
good.
Still good. Robin Williams is a comical genius,
He
and we'll
is.
get into him later because I could talk about him for days. But we're on the music.
Yeah.
So yes, music. What's your favorite song?
My favorite song is the one that goes, Princess Adi, 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 Ababwa.
You made it about your daughter.
Yeah, I made it about our baby.
It does work. Rolls off the
Yeah,
tongue
it
nice.
goes pretty smoothly. No, but my
Princess
favorite
Adi.
song... Ooh, I think it is a Prince Ali song.
Okay.
What
What about you, Andre?
A whole new world.
Of course it is. We've already talked about our karaoke mishap
Yeah, where I had to sing both parts.
because they played the
'Cause
credit version
They
instead
played
of
the
the actual
Peebo
version.
Bryson version, which I also love. We got an R&B credit song in this one, y'all.
R&B credit song.
You guys, this is the first
I
time.
can show you the world. Shining, shimmering, splendid.
That's exactly how it
It's
sounds.
so good.
This is the first time, like literally, I wrote down R&B version.
You did? Good.
Is the business. This
Yes.
is
You
the
like
first-
it?
Yes.
Boom.
This is the first time that it actually sounds like it should be an R&B song. Like some of
yeah.
the other ones just, I'm sorry,
Don't make
didn't
sense
need to be an R&B
necessarily,
song.
yeah.
This one,
wrong.
ooh.
They all deserve R&B songs at the end.
That's hilarious.
No, this one, I was about it. I was.
It is good. I just, when we were singing karaoke, had never heard this version before, so I was kind of lost. It was in a different key than I was aware of.
Yeah.
I sing very high like Princess Jasmine now. Unbelievable sights. I
You
can't
just
sing
did
like
it. It was
Yeah.
kind of.
and it wasn't cute.
It was a little
Wasn't
flat,
cute.
but it
Could
was
have
fun.
karaoke'd that. It
wasn't
fine.
cute.
It was late in the night.
My favorite song is when Aladdin is going through the marketplace.
I like how she's singing the instrumental part, not even the
intro.
word.
You gotta keep one shot ahead of the bread line, one swing
Ahead of the sword.
I steal only what I can afford, and
that's everything.
That
he's-
song
he's
is
broke.
so genius to me, and
Aladdin ain't got
I'm
no
gonna.
money.
This is where I'm gonna agree
He
with
ain't got
you.
no money.
I can't believe I'm gonna agree with you on this. The
What?
songs in this, like cohesively, are better than The Little Mermaid. Like they just are, and that song every time I hear it, like when I watched it on Broadway, when I would watch it at California Adventure, when I watch it on a movie, when it comes on Pandora, I get chills with that song,
Yeah.
and I don't really know why, but it's so good. It tells the story. I love that
Well,
song.
and when you hear something and it immediately gets you excited, like it automatically gets you into like a heightened sense of like something's happening, that shows you the masterful art of music.
Right.
And
Because
then
regardless
it's so
of what's
good.
happening in the scene, the animation's great, the physical comedy's hilarious, but the song
so good.
itself can carry.
And it's so
Super
fun
good.
to
thing.
sing because he's almost like talk singing.
Oh, yeah.
And there's something about that song I love that song.
I have
I
a
love
music fact. So apparently, Alan Menken and Howard Ashman were working on this music while they were working on The Little Mermaid in like 80,
there you go.
There you
88
go.
and 89. So they started writing songs for this movie before a script was written, which is
Interesting.
very
Which is hilarious.
interesting to me. Yeah,
Well,
and
that
so
is
then
cool.
after Ron Clements stopped directing Little Mermaid, they moved over into Aladdin and started writing, and there were already some songs.
Well, you know
Maybe
what's
that's
good
why
about
we
that?
like both of those movies' music so much.
Well, I think what's so interesting about this is because I was just going to say, I had no idea about that fact, which I think is great. I had no idea. And I was going to say, this is one of those songs that you could not pick up out of this movie and put into another movie. Because weren't we talking a couple episodes ago about like the second star to the right was supposed to be in some other movie?
It was
Right,
supposed to be an
yeah.
Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
That's right.
Now, of course, Peter Pan's a little bit different. The story writing is very different and everything. The musical content's different. But you could not take any one of these songs out and place them anywhere else.
No,
Right.
it's
But
kind of where they
Aladdin.
started that like almost Broadway-ish type song
Mm-hmm.
where it's for the movie. It's not just a song. Like it's a song written for the movie.
So I find that really interesting that it was written before even a script
Right, before the
because
script was written.
maybe the song carried the script because I feel like it
Yeah.
was so perfectly cohesive at that point.
It was written
God.
around the songs.
Well, we didn't ask you. What's your favorite song?
Mine, which is funny that we all have a different favorite song. My favorite is "Friend Like Me."
Friend like
Oh, why are you singing the musical part? Why are you singing the instrumental?
Wow! Oh, it's so good.
That song is so fun. The whole
See, I
time.
have like my heart rate is up. It's so fun. We can
This
do
is
some
the
cardio to
perfect
this.
segue into like Genie, Robin Williams talk. Because let's talk about how much of a genius he is in that song. Oh my god,
He's a genius in the whole movie. When he
He is a genie. Yes.
a genius.
genius. Oh my
I
god.
love that.
You're welcome.
When Genie shows up on screen, you freak out.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The whole tone of the movie change. It's like here it comes.
Right.
You're so
Before-
excited when he
Before
pops
Genie
up.
was in the movie, it's like, wow, this is like some magical craziness going on. And
It's
they're
pretty
in the, they're in the
intense,
desert,
actually.
and Jafar has killed a couple people apparently, and all kinds of stuff. And then Genie pops in, and is like, oh, we're having fun now.
He's the exact like comical relief that you need from some of the things that are happening.
Well,
in the movie.
he's Jafar's antithesis, like
Oh, yeah.
completely. Everything that I'm going to talk about Jafar in a little bit. Daddy Jafar.
no,
Shut up.
It was a joke.
he's not a father.
God.
He could be. He
The Sultan, Disney dad.
see. There you go. He set a very scary tone at the beginning of the movie. He,
Yeah.
like you said, he's killing people. He literally gives no regard to human life. He's
Right.
just like, get in there, I need that
Whatsoever.
lamp. And all of a sudden, you have someone who has no, even though he's so bonded to the lamp and to his,
He's a slave.
he's a slave, he's a
Right,
prisoner.
yeah.
He is the most free person in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
So it's just so funny to see him come on screen and literally steal the show. He steals every part of the show.
The whole thing.
There's nobody that they could have cast for him besides Robin Williams.
They had
I-
Robin Williams in mind when they were
What they
writing the role.
did
That's
is when they
fantastic.
first wrote, like, stylized the genie, they listened to Robin Williams stand-up comedian sets, and then they scripted it with Genie. Like, Genie moving, talking.
They animated his stand-up.
They animated
as
his
Genie.
stand-up as Genie to, like, see if he would be the perfect fit, and they were like, well, that's it.
And
like,
they showed it to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing this."
Oh my!
Yes.
Can you imagine seeing yourself like already
Like, as
That'd
animated?
be so
Genie.
cool.
You're like, oh, I'm already a character.
Yeah.
Bam.
Andre as Sebastian doing his stand-up comedy.
Win.
Ooh,
Win, right?
with the accent.
So, I mean,
Cute
if that
accent.
doesn't show you they really wanted him, like if somebody did that for me, I'd be like, of course I'm doing this movie. But thank
You already
God,
put in all that work.
Yeah.
thank
look at all
God
this
he
effort you
said
guys
yes.
did.
And for, I guess nobody really knows this. We were just talking about this before, but I grew up on every single Robin Williams movie possible. Flubber, Jumanji, Aladdin, Mrs. Doubtfire, Hook.
Hook,
Anything
Hook,
that had Robin
Oh.
Williams in it, I was watching. I absolutely loved Robin Williams. My mom actually, I can't remember if it was her doctor or someone like that, was friends with Robin Williams, and he used to live in the Bay Area before he passed away, and they would go canoeing a lot over in the Bay Area, and she would just say how he's literally the most amazing person that she's ever met. Like, he is just the epiphany of, like, the best person ever. Like, he's so down to earth. And I'm sorry, when he died, I cried, like, so much.
That was...
Yeah.
Hey, like, hands down, he's my favorite actor, just, like, in general. So watching this movie again was, like, so great. I was like, there he is. This is a genius, Robin Williams.
When he died, Disney played Aladdin, like, on all of their Disney channels, like Disney XD and Toon Disney or whatever.
Well, and I think a lot of, like, the of course, you know, you have your news outlets and everything that gave us the horrible news, but it was interesting how the whole Disney community came out, and you saw posts of Genie, you're free. And talk about heartstrings.
Every
you
time
know?
I would scroll through my Instagram, I was crying. I was like,
Quite
like
so
Robin Williams was like my childhood actor that I just like connected to, and I still love him to this day. But Genie is there's something about his character that just makes the whole movie like the best. The best.
Well, and you know what's really funny about this whole thing? I'm going to throw Louis under the bus. What's new?
What
is that
Under the bus again, Lou.
under the bus.
Under the bus.
One of my favorite things to do in Disneyland and California Adventure before it was changed over into Frozone Land or whatever, it was to go watch Aladdin.
always
the
would
stage
go.
play. I mean, I don't know how many
Every
times
time,
Michelle
yeah.
and I watched it together, and how many times I've seen it in
Absolutely
general.
brilliant.
I loved it, and I totally dug Genie in that show.
Ugh,
He
yes.
he totally stole the show as well. But I love how they were able to like keep the script. I mean, the script obviously was the script, but they were able to improv with some like
modern
Right.
recent events, things
yeah,
like that.
recent events. There you go.
And it was funny because Luis every time was like, "Do we have to watch Aladdin?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we have to watch Aladdin." And he liked the show. He just didn't like Genie. He just, I think he thought he was like over the top or whatever. And it was funny because when we were watching this, he's like, "This is way better than the show." And I think it's because it was so. I don't even know how to explain it. It was off the cuff, but in a very meaningful way. Like
Yeah.
Robin Williams has a very.
He was still doing like recent event, like when Genie would change into other
Yes.
things, you
Yeah.
know. So it makes sense that they did that
Yeah.
at the show at California
Which I
Adventure.
loved.
I loved it too. So they
Andre,
kind of almost kept that theme.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Don't you have the list of all of the different characters
Yeah,
or references that he made?
So many.
All of Genie's celebrity impressions are in order: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ed Sullivan, Groucho Marx with the hat and the
Yes.
mustache, William Buckley, Senor Wences, Robert De Niro, Carol Channing, Arsenio Hall, Walter Brennan, Mary Hart, Ethel Merman, Rodney Dangerfield, Jack Nicholson,
Thank you. The Jack Nicholson one I was waiting for. It was hilarious.
Peter Lorre, and Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars.
And I also made the comment.
And there you go.
There you go.
Boom.
Genius. But I also felt bad because the whole movie, every time he would do those things and I didn't know who it was, I was like, Andre, who is that? Because a lot of
It's
those
Jack
names,
Nicholson.
even on that list, I don't necessarily know.
Well, yeah,
Just, I
sure.
guess I'm too young. I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know who Mary Hart is.
But it was still funny. Like, I didn't have to know who they were necessarily without it.
Well,
it was still funny.
But you could at least tell like generally where things came from, because one of
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite I think it was so funny was during the Prince Ali song, you know, they're talking about he's singing about all of the different things that are coming in the parade and everything, and literally it looked like the Macy's Day Parade.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
He's
it's so
commentating and he's like, "Oh my god, aren't they fabulous?"
They're lovely, June. Aren't they fabulous?
Hilarious.
that is one of the best.
Hilarious.
Yes. He just turns into so many things, like in that.
Yeah.
Or he turns into like one of the gypsies in the background. He's like the very big one. He's like, oh, he's handsome. So handsome. I was like, get out of here, Genie.
He's a really good promoter. He
Yeah.
should just be like
He's
a hype
great
man.
hype man.
Here we go. Genie is a Disney dad. If he had kids. Well, it got very quiet.
Even Addie stopped squealing. She was like, "What, Genie?"
Well, you know, because they always say like you have to have a guy that makes you laugh.
No, that's
He
only
makes
Jessica
people
Rabbit who says that.
Whatever. Anyways, you said Jafar was the Disney dad, so I was like, boo.
There's a reason that Jafar is a Disney dad.
You know, okay. this
And
is
I'll
what
post
happened.
the picture.
When
Oh,
Jafar
okay.
came, when Jafar came on, I immediately made the comment that him and Yzma would make a good couple.
From Emperor's New Groove.
They would get along very great,
But
and they should get married.
She's too old for him.
He's old.
That's one of my
But
favorite
he's so old.
You will make the princess marry me. I will make the princess. But you're so old.
Yeah, he like snaps out of his hypnosis. He's like,
Like,
"Ah."
not my daughter, dude. Gross.
No,
So
the reason that I think Jafar is a daddy is because a couple years ago, did I already tell this story? I feel like I
don't
already told
know.
No,
the
I
story.
don't think so.
A couple years ago, Luis and I went to Santa Cruz, and one of the big things that they do in Santa Cruz, you know, we have the beach boardwalk, the rides and everything, is they are huge on caricatures there. And they always want to, you know, turn you into the big old face people. Anywho, Luis and I had never done it, and we thought, why not? We have some time, we'll do it. So we sat down and we had them do the drawing of us, and it was funny because people walking by were literally stopping and laughing, and I was like, dude, what are they doing
Right,
to me?
what
Do
are
I
they
have butt
drawing?
teeth? Like, I mean, I'm not that funny of a looking person. Like, stop, right? So we're sitting there, and they're going by, and when they finally turn it around, we look at it, and I'm not even looking at myself, I'm looking at Luis, because the artist drew him with Jafarian eyebrows.
Oh, no.
Like, he could not look any more like Jafar. Like,
You have to post it. Do you still have it?
Oh, yes, I have this picture. I
Yes.
will post it. Legitimately, Luis was Jafar, and Jafar was Luis in that
I can't
picture.
wait to see this.
So now every
picture.
time I see Jafar, I'm just like, think of Luis in a turban.
That's so funny.
I can't.
It's time to say goodbye
So-
to Prince Abubu.
That was terrible. It does look like.
Look at him.
I'm
Doesn't he
never
look like
going
Jafar?
to unsee this. You
Wait
want
till you
Jafar
actually see
forever.
the picture, then my life will be ruined.
Wow.
So when we dress up for Halloween this year, Addie can be a boo boo boo, and
Oh, he'll be a boo boo.
Oh my God, dress her up like a Yago.
No.
okay, she's Jasmine. He
Boo-boo.
says,
Fine.
fine. I thought it would be Iago. Would
Let's
be
be
Yago.
real. Addie might have Jasmine hair when she grows up.
That's true.
She's almost got jasmine hair now. It's almost
Yeah.
as long.
Jeez.
Jafar.
Anywho.
Okay.
So no, he is not a daddy, but Jafar Louis
Okay,
is
that
definitely a
makes
daddy.
more sense than a lot. The creepiest thing about Jafar to me is like he's always wearing this very intricate outfit that like stretches his neck
He's
super
got a-
long
he's got
or
a
something.
good
But when
sense
he
of fashion.
takes off all his clothes and like
What?
where,
When he does what?
When does he
Hold
take
on.
off his clothes?
back up when he
Which movie did you
takes
watch?
off his fancy outfit and he's dressed like a commoner because he's stealing Aladdin to
when
take
it becomes Creeper
I
Jafar.
thought he had magically turned himself into a different person. No, that's just how he looks.
Hold on, the old man?
Yes.
No, that's a disguise.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
you think
the,
that he just took off his outfit and that's what's underneath?
the
I
beard
think
and
so.
the beard and eyebrows is a disguise, and the hump is part
But
of the
that's
disguise.
how his body looks.
But just his lanky, long, old man body, I think is what
He's
she's
that
saying.
old?
Is,
yes.
he's not that old. He put on a fake beard and stuff. Like his normal beard is still black. It's not all gray. So I don't think he's that
You
old.
guys, you just ruined Jafar. For
But
me.
he's very.
Louis,
he's
what do
very
you look
lanky.
like under those clothes? Oh my God. I'm so worried now.
Anyway, so that
Probably
creeped
not as
me
goofy
out like
as
so
life is a
much.
Jafar is.
What?
It
That-
just creeped me out when he turned into the old man like that.
That was a complete disguise. He just magically turned into someone
I don't
else.
think so.
Do you think the evil queen really looks like her evil old queen
no,
lady?
that's different. She
Same
took
thing.
a potion.
Same thing. Same
No,
thing.
I think Jafar is so
yeah,
old.
Jafar's costume was too simple for him to look that convincing as an old man. Like he put on the fake beard and he put Iago in as his hump.
Yeah.
But I don't think he had to draw in any of those
No,
liver
he did
spots or
not.
anything like that. His teeth,
He just
his
acted
teeth probably were that
like
nasty.
he was just like, oh, I'm Jafar. Like he's just making that old man voice. Also, the other thing that creeped me out is, oh my god, they really wanted to make him look unrealistic. That's what the artist did because they didn't want him to look very human. I mean, he looks creepy if you look at him.
Yeah.
Well, I
his-
was watching the like the animated documentary feature, and everyone in the movie is kind of like rounded off. They have like round features, but Jafar is very sharp. He's very triangular, and that's to make him look opposing and aggressive.
Speaking of shark, as I was saying, sharp. As I was saying, the
Bruce.
thing that creeps me out the most about Jafar is when he smiles, his upper lip like goes over his mouth, and it's super pointy. And the whole time I was like, ugh, his upper lip. Ugh.
Who's looking at someone's upper lip?
She was
Do
obsessed.
you ever
with
see
it
when he
during
makes
watching
like
the
those
movie.
little creepy grins, like? His upper lip looks
Well, now I'm
freaky.
looking at your upper lip. Does your upper lip do that?
And he has that like little tiny mustache like that. Jafar is not my
Louis has that. Look.
Yeah, well, it looks good on Louis, okay? Jafar's he's not my favorite Disney villain.
Oh, see, I'm going to say he's probably one of my favorites because
He's
he
up
is
there for me.
hilarious.
Yes.
He has
He creeps me out.
He has like Spider-Man reverse quips. Like, you know how Spider-Man's saying like funny things off the top?
Find a picture of his upper lip. I need you to look at it. No, he's got to be smiling.
Like, I love,
Like
okay.
from the side.
So one of the things he says, like the Sultan's like, this is my royal vizier, Jafar. He's delighted too. And Jafar goes, ecstatic. This is so...
No, the things he says are funny. I just can't stand to look at him.
Jafar reminds me of Snape.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Well, you know, it's funny because Jafar completely reminds Louis of the Shadow Man. Like the whole time.
Yes, I
Right,
did say that too.
When you
Frog.
look at him, they're drawn so similarly. Like, could we get a chubby villain one time? Like
well,
one.
Ursula.
Well, they went on another level then,
Boom.
so we got like the chubbiest villain. But all of the males are very thin, very lanky,
Yeah.
and they.
Those are the scariest dudes.
That's true, I guess.
You're
They're
out
pretty
there,
scary.
you're thin and lanky. You're scaring people. Sorry. I'm one of you.
Well, and I think that he was supposed to juxtapose the Sultan as well because the Sultan couldn't be any shorter or more
Yeah,
round.
He's a very stout man.
So yeah, there's
and
that.
very silly. But I like the Sultan a lot, actually. It's messed up that he gets so mesmerized all the time.
With
It's not-
everything.
It's not fair.
Well, the
He doesn't deserve this. Although I don't know how good of a sultan he is. Agrabah is kind of a rough city.
he's a mess. He's not a very good leader. He stays inside of his
Castle. He plays with toys a lot.
Yes, he does. He's much more interested in what's going on with his daughter and her marriage than
True.
he is. He's totally checked out.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not doing this job anymore. You need to find a husband. so
I
can
need a
retire."
husband like yesterday. Thank you.
Louise looked like he was gonna say something and then
He
yawned.
yawned into the
He
mic.
picked the microphone up, opened his mouth, and then yawned.
Sorry, guys. I was going to say something, but then a yawn overpowered me.
Yeah.
But,
Well, with that, I'll just like cut you off because that's ridiculous. Let's go into some of the really good, I guess, I want to call them Easter eggs, but they're kind of not Easter eggs because they were very purposeful.
Yes.
Some of the Easter eggs that happened in this movie. So in one shot, the first, like, Genie transports everyone out of the Cave of Wonders and they end up on this little Isle Abyss,
So,
right?
Oasis. yes.
Oasis, thank you, Isle Abyss. It's the same as an oasis,
Isle
whatever.
Abyss.
Same. See, two words put into one. So they end up on the Oasis, and he starts turning into different things. He's talking about how he should turn him into the prince and everything. And first thing he does is turn into Pinocchio's face when Aladdin says that he'll
Ah,
change
that
him
freaked
over.
me out. dude.
Pinocchio.
I was like,
thank you
whoa.
guys for voting in the.
Oh, yeah.
In the the fan vote this
Yeah,
week.
thanks
by
for
the
not
way.
voting for Pinocchio.
Whoa.
First of all, maybe Pinocchio was the real winner here. He showed up several times in this movie. I feels like.
Oh, he was mad we didn't choose him.
Yeah, Andre kind of wanted Pinocchio, but he chose all three of these, so he likes his Aladdin too. But he turns into Pinocchio very specifically. His
Yes.
nose is super long because Genie is trying to imply that he is lying, right?
Which he is.
Aladdin pushes the nose back in, and then Genie pulls Sebastian out of the recipe book for
King Crab.
yeah, for the recipe book for a prince. Very obviously Sebastian.
Yep.
Later on in the movie, Genie puts on a hat once he's free from being a genie. He's a free genie.
The goofy.
He puts on the
hat.
freaking goofy
They
hat. from
still sell
Disneyland.
those at Disneyland.
Yes, they do.
Hat.
Which is so funny because the whole time I was waiting for him to say like, "I'm going to Disneyland."
Right.
Yeah,
It felt
because
like
they
he-
do it in the one at California
Yes,
Adventure.
and that has just become such an iconic thing to say now after Super Bowls and
Right.
stuff. So I felt like he was going to say it, but with putting on that hat, it was done. Like he's going to freaking Disneyland.
Yeah, it's
I think he
hilarious.
references it earlier too, because he's like, "Al, you defeated Jafar, and you're gonna marry Jasmine. What are you gonna do next?"
Exactly, and that was it. I was
Right.
like, going to Disneyland.
I also, I guess this isn't an Easter egg technically, but they break the fourth wall a few times, like
Yup.
at the beginning, and then he breaks the fourth wall again when Al is like not gonna set Genie free,
Mm-hmm.
and he opens like the Aladdin script and says, "Now you're supposed to say, Genie, I wish to set you free."
I know.
Like he's
Whenever you're
holding the script and it says Aladdin
Yes.
on the front. It's hilarious.
That is too funny.
So good.
So those were all ones that I think were pretty purposeful, but there's one that I think a lot of people have seen it, but it was cute because we were just talking about how the Sultan like plays with his little toys and
Yeah.
stuff. So has little figurines of some sort, and he's turning them into a pyramid. I think he's like stacking them on top of
making
each other.
A tower of giraffes or whatever.
And in his tower of giraffes and effalumps
Heffalumps.
and
Yes.
woozles, the screen starts to pan up, and there's actually a figurine of Beast.
Oh.
It's pretty
sitting
cool.
sitting inside of the statues.
I didn't notice
And so
that.
that's pretty cool because that obviously was purposeful, but it's not so much as like an homage to another movie as it is just a little Easter egg
Right.
inside.
Beauty and the Beast came out the year before this, I believe. Yeah, 91.
So there you go. So that was a good I guess just a little homage to Beauty and the Beast.
Shout out to the podcast, baby. Addie is a very special guest. On this
She's
episode.
excited.
She has
Can you hear her
she
over
has
there?
A lot of
I was
opinions
playing with her.
She
about
is,
Genie.
She loved this movie.
Did she?
Did
And
she?
I think that's why she's over there like so jazzed because a lot of the other movies we've watched, and of course she's really young, but
She's
she's
a
just
tiny
like
baby.
don't even
Like,
care.
whatever
Like
about
she's
it.
whatever. But she did like Genie. You could tell like he was magnificent, and she enjoyed his largeness.
I mean, she had her own song in this movie, so of course she's
Right,
like
yeah.
it.
Oh man,
Princess Adi, right?
Princess Adi.
So
That's
yeah.
hilarious. Is it time for our battleness?
Yes,
You want to
it
go
is.
into that? Then we can talk about.
Battle.
Dun, 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 dun.
Almost sounded like Darth Vader for a
I
second.
know.
I thought he was gonna go dun 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 dun.
This week we have a battle of the bird variety.
Battle of the Birds.
The Battle of the Birds.
Now, for those of you listening and are podcast members, if you could choose a feathered sidekick for a day, who would it be? Iago or Zazu from Lion King?
Oh, this is like the perfect segue into side characters too.
Yes.
Zazu.
We haven't talked about
or
Iago really
Iago.
yet.
Nuh-uh.
Talk about
is one of
Iago,
my
'cause
favorite
God, he's funny.
characters.
So freaking funny.
He
So
is
funny.
so good. He's played by Gilbert Godfrey, and he's perfect. I was watching that documentary about the making of Aladdin, and they really put a lot of Gilbert Godfrey's like physical emotions into Iago's performance. Like he's always like
He's shrugging his shoulders and he's squinting his eyes and he's pulling his arms out like this. I'm molting.
it's
Molting.
it's very well done. I love Iago.
I love about the cracker too. He's like 5 to eat one more moldy cracker.
Curse splat. He says that at one point. Zazu, on the other hand, is
I'm Zazu.
yeah, he's
He almost sounds more British.
he's
like,
well,
Zazu.
yeah, he's definitely British or something. He's very uppity. He's very snobby. I'm trying to think of how useful Zazu is
Compared to Iago.
in terms of like being a feathered sidekick. Like
He lost Simba quite a few times.
yeah, and he tried to go get help for Simba and Mufasa, and he got Scar of all people. Iago though, is Iago useful? What does Iago do in this movie?
He
aside
wears
from
that
being
tiny
funny?
sultan's hat.
You know what?
He steals
does,
the lamp.
He does a lot of he steals the lamp, and he does a lot of
Good impressions.
very good Peter Pan-esque
Yes,
impressions.
he throws his voice beautifully.
Like, okay, here, this is how
when
I'm
he's the
thinking.
flamingo.
I know. This is how I'm thinking of
Aladdin,
it. If
I'm
you
outside in the
put,
garden.
oh my god,
Wow, Andre, are you Iago?
Thank you.
if you put them both in the tiki room, like Zazu and Iago, who would I want to watch more in the tiki room? And I would want to watch Iago. So I'm going with Iago.
I feel like as a sidekick, Iago has more to offer only because he's a little bit more thrifty because he's not so uppity.
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
Zazu has a moral compass that will
Yeah.
keep him from being as thrifty as you might need him to be. But Iago's like,
Yeah, if I
no.
have Iago, I'm trying to get in some trouble today. Be my sidekick. He's gonna be taking lots of things from me.
So we need him while we're like, you know how we were talking about the Santa Claus bag? And so it's like
Yeah.
you have He's just gonna go in there and get you all the goodies
Yeah.
and the cookies.
I'm going with Iago.
Yeah, I think I like Iago more as well. Mainly just because he's more entertaining than Zazu. I think just having him as a friend would be way better.
I am going to also go with Iago only because Zazu, for being upstanding and moral, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Singing the morning report, which you didn't like.
That was terrible. He fell
want
very
another
short
bunch of
of my
coconuts.
expectations for what a good person should be.
Here
And
we are.
Iago, he's funny, so I'll go with Iago.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised Luis thinks Iago is funny because he usually doesn't like those types of characters. But
when Iago, he like slams himself into a pillar after the Sultan is like flying around on the carpet, and then he like gets back up and he sees like little flying sultans go around his head. I was like, this movie is delightful.
I made the comment too that when we talked about the Little Mermaid, I was like, oh, I like Flounder, he's so cute, and then I was like, I take it back, I like Iago. Like Iago is the best like wingman ever.
He's
so
hilarious.
Yeah.
And he really does have some of the funniest lines, obviously besides Robin Williams. But like he gets smashed in the door, like he has like the little secret
He gets
entrance
smashed
to
a
his
bunch of times.
into his little like Jafar's little cabin lair
Lair,
thing,
yeah.
and he gets stuck in the door. He's like, "Help me! I'm still stuck." Like Iago, shut up! And he's just like, "Help!" So funny.
It is funny. And I like how he tries to act like a bird around the Sultan. He's like, squawk, quacker. Like, just like...
Well, and at the
Being
beginning,
so
he does a pretty
sarcastic.
good job. Like, he sounds
Yeah, then
like...
he gets lazy about it.
And
He's
at
like,
the end,
oh.
he's like, he starts repeating the parts you definitely shouldn't repeat. Like,
Or he's
you're
like-
stupid.
Or he said
does
something
he
about
say?
your daughter. He's like, marry your daughter.
He's perfect for your daughter.
That's what he says. I don't remember.
Like, dang, didn't know birds could talk that much. But the Sultan's such an idiot. He's like, okay. Are you going
good.
with Iago too?
Oh, I'm definitely going with
All
Iago.
right, we
Yes.
got a clean sweep for Iago.
A clean sweep of battle.
Let's compare some of the other
Side characters.
two other animals, Raja and
Abu.
Abu.
A boo-boo.
Abu. Who's the voice of Abu again?
The voice of Abu.
It's
The
Winnie the Pooh,
Screechings.
right?
Is it? Hang on.
I think he said it was.
No.
Just kidding.
The voice of Abu is Frank Welker, who also plays Raja and the Cape of Wonders in this movie.
Oh, okay. So he's doing a lot.
Yes.
Who dares
Disturb my slumber. That's like my mantra. Don't wake me up. That's what I definitely was like this morning. We're recording this podcast at a very early hour,
Oh,
and we
you're
almost
fine.
recorded it even earlier, but I couldn't swing it.
I think I like
Who dares disturb my slumber?
Abu's okay. But
I love
I like
Abu.
Raja better just because I'm like, oh, Raja's so cute. But it's probably not safe to have a tiger in real life, But
Well, I've seen the joke on Instagram so many times where it's like Jasmine is asking Aladdin, like, is your magic carpet safe? And then it's like, is having a tiger safe?
Girl, you got a tiger.
You've got a tiger as a pet.
Raja almost reminds me of Nana.
Oh, 100%.
Like when she's like going away on the carpet with Aladdin and Raja's looking up at her like, bye.
She's like, he's helping her get up the wall.
Yeah.
Fighting off stupid suitors.
Mhm.
Like, she
Raja's very nice.
I like Raja.
is Raja
Raja.
a gentleman tiger?
I
A female
I
tiger?
thought it was a
think
female.
Raja is male.
I always thought he was male.
So this is awkward. I don't
Think-
know. Abu is a dude.
Abu is definitely a female.
Abu's-
That was a
oh,
joke.
lady.
No, I don't know.
I love that Abu is like terrified of Genie at the beginning. He's like, "Ah!" when Genie comes out. I'm like, calm down.
I
Abu.
thought he was like maybe not so terrified. I thought he like didn't like him because he was taking away Aladdin's
his
spotlight.
yeah.
or something like that. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe a mixture of both. But Abu is the elephant.
Oh yes,
my God.
I like Abu as the elephant.
He's
He
a
looks-
mumbo flying
and he
Dumbo.
looks very much like Elephant from Tarzan.
Yeah.
Like the trunk is shaped the same way. That's just
Oh.
what I thought when he became.
no,
an
it's
elephant.
pretty similar.
But I like him better as the elephant.
I like
than a
that he
monkey.
still has a long monkey tail when he's
Yes.
a giant elephant.
But let's be
great.
honest, he gets in a lot less trouble as an elephant because he's not as shisty.
Yeah.
Like he
Fucking
was
touching
getting them in some
jewels.
problems
Yeah.
in the
stealing
beginning.
apples.
He's gotta
Abu
get
was
the
doing
hands
the
cut
most
off.
when he shouldn't have been.
But I mean, I guess if he hadn't touched that big crazy monkey jewel, then they wouldn't have met Genie
Yeah,
because
that's
he would have
True.
just given it over to Jafar.
true. Yeah.
And
That's
then-
And
true.
That would have been a
Carpet.
disaster.
to Carpet.
Carpet is the
Carpet
best.
should get an Oscar for this movie. He has so
So
much character and
good.
charisma for a being with no face.
So the animators should get a Oscar.
You know what I mean.
Just
Well,
remember,
we're gonna say
like
the
when
body acting was so good.
this is like again when I said that Jodie Benson did a great job when she didn't talk. Carpet did a great job.
I'll be honest. On the stage show that used to be in California Adventure, Carpet was my absolute favorite every single time
She
because
was
there was
so
this
cute.
little girl. Well, she wasn't a girl, but she was a small female
Yes.
who did the most beautiful cartwheels
Yeah,
and
uh-huh.
backflips and things, and she had so much personality in her tassels.
I know, I
Damn
loved it.
tassels.
Them tassels, though.
Carpet's-
Beautiful.
I love Carpet.
I love me some Carpet.
Carpet's so cool.
When the Sultan's like riding around on the carpet, and then at the
He's
end, the
having
carpet's
so
like,
much fun.
woo, like all tired. So cute.
He's a fatty.
I know. Well, and who we haven't talked about is Jasmine, which I kind of have a weird thing to say about her. I don't not have a bone to pick with her. Like she's fine. She's Jasmine, but
What did Jasmine do to you?
I don't like her talking voice. It's so much more high pitched than I remembered for some reason, and I think it's just because I've seen the Broadways and those theatrical versions more. But as soon as she started talking, I was like, I don't know about her talking voice. It was like very like nasally and kind of sassy to me, which she is sassy. But I love Jasmine. But something about
You know
her
what I
voice
like
was
about
off.
Jasmine is that she's able to adapt to the situation because in
Yeah.
multiple scenes she takes on she's able to read the situation and take on what's going on. So like when they're in the marketplace and she accidentally steals an apple to
Right.
give to the kid, and
She
then-
didn't know everything wasn't free.
Oh well,
She's
what?
lived in
She
a palace
didn't,
her whole
yeah.
life.
And Aladdin's like, oh, that's my crazy sister.
Oh,
she thinks
yeah.
that the monkey's the Sultan, and she totally goes
Yeah.
along with it.
Hello, Sultan.
She's like bowing to him, and she thinks like
I love that
like
part.
a camel's the doctor or
Right.
something.
Yes.
And then the same thing, like at the end when Jafar is, trying to get her to be his sexy concubine wife or
he
something.
puts her into a straight up slave Leia costume.
Yeah, he does.
Straight up. And she plays the I won't marry you thing for a while, but then she realizes like I'm gonna get somewhere if I pretend to like
Time to distract him.
She
Right?
freaking kissed him.
and she
Ugh, I was making that same sound. Yikes!
Yeah, so did I.
I wrote down in my notes. When she kissed him. Ew, 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 ew. No, Jasmine, no. Ew, ew, ew. It's not worth it.
but apparently it was Andre.
Yeah, I guess
so
so.
I guess I like her because no offense, Disney princesses, sometimes they're a little too helpless for my liking.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
She's super smart.
she at
She
least
like
was,
even figured out that Prince Ali was Aladdin. She was
Oh.
like, I knew it was you.
Yeah.
oh yeah, totally
Like, from
knew.
the beginning.
Although,
she
to be
doesn't-
fair, he's just a bad liar, just in general.
True,
he's a
but
She
really-
should
still.
have found that out. No problem.
Well, and his little feather thing gives him up every time.
That's right. That's his Pinocchio nose in
So-
this movie. Straight up,
Feather.
it falls down every time he lies when he has that hat on.
So he
Yeah,
has his
Jasmine.
big old turban, and the feather will stick up when he's telling the truth, and it falls over in his face when he's lying. So it's good to. She has a built-in liometer. Good for her.
She is great.
Lie detector.
She only
had-
sings one song. I never realized that. Like
yeah,
she's
she
only
doesn't
in a
have
whole
her
new
own
world.
song. I think there's like maybe a cut song.
Well, the Gilded Cage song that they sing,
They do that on the
in the
Broadway
show.
ones.
I'll be honest with you, I like it there, but I'm glad it wasn't in the movie because I
Right.
think it
wouldn't
would have
make
slowed it
sense.
down.
She
Yeah.
she has her own. Well, they did the Birdcage one at the actual Broadway one too, but I think she had a different.
yeah,
song
she had
as
I
well.
think she had a couple of songs in the
She had
Broadway
a
version.
couple. I mean, the Broadway versions obviously they added in a lot of stuff, but yeah, she only has the one in the movie,
But
which is good because I love that song with
It's
her.
a good
obviously,
one.
it's like one of the best Disney duets.
Her singing
Yeah.
voice is Leah Salonga, who plays Mulan,
Mm-hmm.
which is a fun fact.
Oh,
Fun fact.
get it, Mulan.
Do it. We haven't even talked about who voices Aladdin, and I need someone to say it so that we can have a moment about it.
Aladdin is voiced by Mr. Scott Winger.
Who is
The dude from Full House.
Steve?
Oh!
Steve from
He's-
Full House?
He's DJ's boyfriend?
Yeah.
Steve.
Whoa!
Oh,
And you wanna
we
know
did
what's-
not
I didn't know that.
at
Do you want to
all.
know what's fabulous about that? Is that in Full House, they go to Disneyland and Steve dresses up as Aladdin.
Bro.
So there's literally a picture of Steve as Aladdin, and he is the voice of Aladdin. I
Oh
love
my
it.
Wow.
gosh, we didn't realize that at all.
I looked at his IMDb page and everything. I didn't see that.
Mind blown.
How weird.
Oh,
wow.
Steve.
Wow.
That's crazy.
An interesting fact that I think you may appreciate, Michelle, and we would as well. Steve could have had the hashtag always snacking before it was even a hashtag.
That's true.
His
Hashtag always
entire
snacking.
character in the original Full House is always raiding their fridge.
Seriously.
Which, by the way, when we did that for the Instagram story, I was very full that day.
You know,
at
he's got
Disneyland.
to get it every chance he gets because Aladdin don't get to eat that much.
Well, I will tell you this right now.
So in
Michelle.
one
That's
character he
depressing.
eats all the time, in the other one he
He's
doesn't.
got to
even
share
made a
his
comment.
bread
I
with a
was
bunch
like-
of orphan kids.
I was like, how is Aladdin so buff and like fit? And Andre's like, because he doesn't eat and he's running away
He's
from
running
guards
from
all the time.
cops constantly.
I was like, well, there you go.
Running from the post.
That's what I need to do to get fit, I guess.
Yeah.
You got to start stealing and running.
Commit a couple
Stealing and
minor
running.
crimes, some misdemeanors.
Crazy.
Run. That's your workout motivation right there.
Well,
jeez.
the saddest thing about this whole movie too is we're watching it, and the first scene he's stealing bread, right?
Yes.
And what other movie? The first scene to someone steal bread and get in trouble for it.
Les Mis.
Les Mis. So I
My
literally
God.
was sitting there and
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, I was like, wow, stealing bread is a really serious crime, you
Yeah, and
guys.
people
is.
like to sing about it.
So I thought, I found that comparison pretty hilarious.
And law enforcement likes to completely blow things out of proportion.
Yeah,
they wanted to
Life
sue
They did a
Aladdin.
lot
Sentence.
of
Oh,
property
you know
damage
why?
Life
to
sentence
catch this
to-
guy
You
who
wanna
stole
know why?
bread.
You want to know why? It's because the main guard is Pete. That's why.
That's who
that-
The
Jim
main
Cummings
guard is
Cat?
yeah.
Yes.
And Winnie the Pooh and Tigger.
Yeah.
The main guard is
Razul is
what's
voiced
his
by
name?
Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings,
Jim
thank you.
Cummings is
Because I even
like
said
my
when he
favorite
started
Disney voice actor.
Yeah,
Because
he started
voices a bunch of
talking, and
people.
I was all, "That's Pete. He came back to haunt us from last week."
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, Pete.
Pete the cat.
Pete trying to chop off hands of Jasmine and heads. And
Real,
things like that.
real
Goof.
aggressive.
Yeah, yeah.
Aladdin.
They made that.
Aladdin.
They made that a little rough.
Yeah, seriously, don't steal bread, okay? Because it's a serious crime. Trust me.
It's okay.
A PSA.
Trust me,
from
that's a
Louise.
PSA.
It's making me uncomfortable because what did we have for breakfast? We had bread.
I didn't steal it. You guys didn't
Did you
steal
steal
it.
the tortuga?
It was a gift from
That's
us
true.
to you.
Okay.
All right.
From the panaderia
Don't,
to you.
don't behead
Okay,
us,
okay,
Jafar
that's-
Louise.
yeah.
So going back to your whole hashtag always snacking fiasco at Disneyland, Michelle, I got to give you some props because
I did it.
I am usually the one who is always snacking in Disneyland, and it always ends up with me complaining about a stomach ache.
I did not get a stomach ache. I'm actually surprised. You want to know why? It's because I didn't eat any meals all day. I just snacked until I had dinner, and then I was very, very full.
That is why I
Right.
am envious of you because you've gone on trips with us. How does
Yeah.
how does the day start off?
Snacking.
Blue has some good cereal, a good breakfast,
What else
and
did
by
I
the end
eat?
of the
Let's
day, his stomach.
I
ache.
had some.
We know what you have. We saw
beignets.
it
saw
all
A
day.
lot. My
Beignets.
favorite thing was the
Let's cut
rose
these
gold strawberry
short.
churro.
Just check the Instagram page and you'll know. What
Well, you know
Michelle
what's
had.
funny about that is I had multiple people in real life
Yes.
talk to me that weekend, and they were like, "What is going on with Michelle? She's eating so much. Is she okay?" I'm like, "If you don't listen to the podcast,
You're not
then
gonna
you're not
You know,
going to
understand.
get
some
it."
people,
Yeah.
If you
some
don't
people
know, you
stress
don't
eat.
know.
Some people,
only
you
snack-
know, they overeat. Michelle just Disney eats.
The only
Exactly.
snack that got bought that I didn't eat was that pickle.
I ate the pickle. Oh, also, all the snacks that Michelle had, I also had a snack.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we were
Yeah,
highlighting
he
Michelle,
did.
but I was also always snacking.
Yeah, he just got a different
in the
snack.
background. He was the cameraman.
Yeah, I was
so-
holding
Only
the
thing we
camera
didn't
and
get was popcorn.
snacking.
Darn.
That's
Have
the
to
best
do it.
snack and snack.
Shoot, Michelle, you do you. You snack up. If you can't get a stomach ache by the end of the day and you snacked all day, do it.
I think I lost like 2
Okay.
pounds this weekend. It's all good.
A lot of walking.
Hashtag
always
always
snacking.
snacking. What will she eat next? Dun dun dun. All right, are we ready for our ratings? What does this have on the Rotten Tomato meter?
Let's take a gander at the tomato meter here. Oh wait, can't go back from that one. This movie, which won 2 Oscars, by the way.
2 Oscars.
This movie has a 94% on
Alright.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Pretty
and-
accurate.
and that's pretty much where it's at.
It has an 8 out of 10 on IMDb, and I guess I don't have the Metacritic score, but that's fine. It's very highly rated.
I mean, I
Um,
understand why. What are you giving this on?
very popular. Did I give The Lion King a 10?
Yeah, you did.
I did.
You were like 9.9.
Yeah,
But
I
you
wrote
didn't
that
give it a
exact
10.
same thing on my notes for Aladdin. I wrote 9.9, 10.
Just give
This
it a
movie gets a 10. This is one of the best Disney movies ever, or ever will be. Ooh, yeah.
Ever will be.
That's right. Boom.
Well, they are going to do a live action version, so
They're
we'll see how
doing
you
a
feel about
live-action Aladdin with Will Smith playing the genie, which is
I was
going
gonna
to
say Will
be.
Smith playing Aladdin. I was like, no.
that. No, Will Smith is playing the genie.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see what kind of different stuff he does.
Miami.
Oh my
Party in the
gosh.
city with the heat is on.
No,
all night
no,
on
no.
the
I
beach
almost
to the
feel
break
like
of dawn.
I almost feel like
Welcome
he's
to
practicing
Agrabah.
for it. Oh my god! I almost feel like he's practicing for it because he all of a sudden got an Instagram, which he never had before, and he's been posting like very hilarious.
His Instagram
videos.
is great. Check out Will Smith's
Yeah,
Instagram.
so I feel like he's
Shout
like,
out to Will.
He's like improving, like preparing himself for like.
Oh, good for
Aladdin.
him.
Yeah. I'm also going to
Hold on,
give-
stop. Hold on. No, we
What?
need to go back. I'm sorry. Is he going to be like? How are they going to
It's
live
a live
action him?
action, so I don't know if they're gonna like make him CGI most of the time, or if it's gonna be like Shaq and Kazam, where he's
my
mainly just on
gosh.
legs
Well,
or
because
whatever.
I'm just literally thinking of him like his head is blue. Like it doesn't have to be blue, right? But I'm thinking his head is blue, and then the body's like CGI, like a big balloon,
Right.
and then he's like just.
That's gonna
I
look
have
weird.
no
I hope they don't do
idea.
that.
That's why I'm having a problem.
They probably
Like,
just wear blue clothes.
he looks exactly like your microphone right now. I'm gonna take a picture of Andre with his microphone, and his microphone is Will Smith. I can't.
Oh dear. I guess.
Interesting.
Yes, we'll find out. We'll get back to you guys on that.
Go ahead, Michelle. I'm just having a hard time.
I'm giving this movie a 10 as well. I can't believe I'm saying that, but
Boom.
it's because of my
2 10s.
connection with Robin Williams, definitely, and the music there. And I was never bored during this movie. I loved it the whole way through, and I think usually the timing is what creates it to a 10 for me. It has to have like the top 3 things. The music has to be good, it has to be comical, and the timing has to be right. And it had all 3 of those for me, so there's no reason I shouldn't give it a 10. It's a 10.
Well, I think that's exactly what I'm saying about that, because I thought that song was in the movie for some reason, that the birdcage
Yeah,
song.
if it was in the movie, then
It would have slowed the whole thing down. So I
Right.
almost was waiting for it and was like, "Oh, well, we're still moving. Sounds good to me."
Mm-hmm.
I want to give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9.
9.
I want to give it a 10, but I'm just gonna give it a 9.
Give it 9.5 then.
Really good. There's nothing wrong with it. I enjoyed it, and
So it's a 10.
Let her have her 9.
Okay.
We can have our 10s, and she'll be a 9.
hey,
For
rude.
those of
I
you-
am a 10.
Not
Aladdin is a 9. No. There's really nothing wrong with
It's
this
got
movie.
classic Disney dad Jafar in it.
Oh my god.
We've got classic Disney Lou.
Princess Adi.
It sings about my daughter. There's really nothing wrong with it. It should be a 10. But I'm giving it a 9.
A 9. That's okay.
All right. Fair enough. Even though I don't understand your reasoning, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I never understand your connection with the ocean reasoning.
It's fine. Fair enough. All right,
Louis.
Louis, your turn.
I'm going to give this movie a 9.5. There's really
9.5.
nothing wrong with it. I enjoyed it from the very beginning. And I want to say, in my opinion, this is the best music soundtrack that I have heard
Oh,
so far
for
in the
sure.
movies we've watched in
Yeah.
our podcast.
Addie, how do you feel about this movie? What do you
She's
give it?
covering her eyes. Now she's eating
Now
the
she's eating the
microphone.
microphone.
So I think that's a 10. I don't know. Not
Ding,
exactly
ding,
sure.
ding.
Well, now my microphone is wet. Thank you, Luis, for putting it in the baby's mouth. I really appreciate
So I have
that.
just one other comment. So Aladdin isn't really represented in the Disney parks so well. There's like that Aladdin's Oasis thing. I think we had
Which I
posted.
never knew what it was.
Yes, I looked it up. So it was actually like a dinner show.
Oh.
In 1993, the
Okay.
year after this movie opened, Aladdin's Oasis, like if you walk into it, it was a show. There's a stage that has the Cave of Wonders.
Well, I have
in
walked
there.
into it because I wanted to know what the heck
Yeah.
it was.
So the
it's
stage,
super cool
the stage
looking.
is still there, but it was a dinner show where they like acted out Aladdin, but it
Oh,
wasn't very
man.
popular for some reasons. It only went for 2 seasons. And so then they closed it, and they were still kind of serving food. And then in 2008, they opened it again and did Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Tiger or something, and they pretended the Cave of Wonders was a tiger. And that was when Indiana Jones, I think the newer movie
Kingdom of
came,
the Crystal
the newer
Skull.
movie came
The
out.
most worthless
And they did that
Indiana
for one
Jones
summer.
movie.
which
Did you
wasn't-
like that movie?
I'm just gonna say
Oh.
That movie's looking
that
at me
the
very
sexiest
angrily.
Disney dad, who's
Oh
not really
my
a Disney
God.
dad, is in that movie.
Oh,
So you're gonna need a
yeah.
backup because anything
Whatever.
he's in is golden.
I agree.
We
with
will
that.
fight after
But you
this.
can get that from The Force Awakens. You don't need to go to Indiana Jones.
Anyways, so
which
then
he's
that-
older and even more sexy, even when he dies. He falls like a dad. Go ahead.
The Indiana Jones thing played for one season, and then they closed it again. And then they were doing like the World of Color to go.
Yeah. I
Or
remember
no,
that.
the I don't know. They were doing.
It was like a
dinner package.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
just went and picked it up. So it's essentially empty. Like every now and then, Aladdin and Jasmine is there. But yeah, I never knew what it was either. They used to have a dinner show in there.
Oh, they should totally bring back a smaller. Obviously, not a version of the musical, but something.
Which
I
they
wonder
did
if-
at California Adventure.
If even
I
the
guess,
reason that it's
but-
still there is because the live action movie is going to come out and they might open it
Oh, you didn't know they're closing. So they're taking
Oh,
out
well.
all of Aladdin's Oasis and making it into like a tiki area restaurant that's going to have views of the Jungle Cruise.
back up. Well, fine then.
JK. Well, that really is happening. Emily's staring at me very weirdly.
I just like the front. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I
it
like
looks
it
just
too.
like
looks
And
nice.
honestly, like the little Cave of Wonders stage in there.
it's
is
super
cute.
cool looking.
Like you could,
like
I bet we could just go in there and like take pictures and like nobody would know. Like just
no,
in
I'm
front of the
telling you,
Cave
I
of
walked
Wonders.
in once because I was like, "What is this?" Like I just walked past everyone. And I walked in and was like, "This is really cool in here."
They should do like a legit meet and greet in there. Like that'd
Yeah,
be
why
so
not?
Right, yeah.
cool.
And if they don't want that Cave of Wonders, they can just like pass it on over, and I'll just put it in my backyard.
Yeah, it sounds great.
What is
Right?
it back there?
We
Cave
can
of
we can
Addie.
put Addie in it, and she can be dressed up like a boo holding the lamp.
Who dares disturb my slumber?
Oh, that'd be nice.
Who dares disturb Miss Swumba?
Oh, well, I like this movie. I like this movie, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
People
good.
people like this
9.5.
movie. It was
Oh,
the-
Emily just said 9.5. She said, okay, fine, 9.5.
Aha, bumped up.
2 10s and a 9.5. I think this is our highest rated movie so
It
far.
totally is.
Probably. Yes.
Okay, so
You can round it up and give it 100%. It's fine.
Yeah.
you wanna
100.
talk about next month?
Yeah, we'll talk about next month. So the last couple of months we've had lots of podcast birthdays, which is really fun.
Yeah, we're all in a row.
Michelle's birthday's in March. Excuse me.
No, that's your
No.
birthday.
Okay, well, the only birthday, no. Michelle's birthday is in January. Andre's is in February, and mine is in March. And so we've got to kind of pick the movies that we like best, and we've let you guys vote. So my favorite movies are coming up in this March movie, and we're going to have some really fun ones.
What are we doing next week?
Next week, we're going to do my favorite old movie ever. Everyone's
I'm doing the
dancing.
goose butt.
Everyone's goose dancing right now. FYI, that's the Aristocats for everyone.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a cat.
Luis is dancing on the couch with Daddy.
Seriously?
He's gonna have to do his impression next
Oh,
week.
he does a great Toulouse impression.
he
Okay,
does.
literally so good. Okay, so Aristocats
The
is coming at
Aristocats.
you
Woohoo!
next week. I'm
I
so
can't
excited. I love this movie. It's so funny because no offense to cat lovers, I am not a cat lover.
I'm allergic to cats, so
Actually,
neither am I.
I'm gonna say most people. Andre, do you like cats? Okay, so
We're not
most
cat
people
people.
in this cat,
Most people in this cat box.
people up in this cat box not be
Fat
liking
cat.
cats. Fat cat is gone. We're not huge cat lovers, but this movie is on another level. So
I
we're
love
really
this
excited
movie.
for that. But in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna have a really good mix of live action and princess and all that. So look forward to some
Emily's
fun.
faves.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Woo! All right, I'm excited to start off with the Aristocats. It's going to be great. Ah!
I love the Aristocats. Spoiler for the next episode. Good stuff.
We all do.
I'm already rating it a 10. You're welcome.
Shut up. Oh my gosh.
That remains to be seen. I do need to watch it again. I haven't watched it in a long time.
So we need to give a shout out to some new patrons.
That's right. We have some patron people on the
Patron people.
on the
Some
patron-
patrons.
on the
What are
Patreon
we-
page.
Do we got some keepers of the vault? We got some vault
Yeah,
guards.
we got some vault guards. We got some keepers of the vault. I'm trying to find their names. Here they are.
Oh my god.
So we want to give a very special shout out to Miss Rochelle Davis, who's pledging on the Patreon. We want to give a shout out to Miss Brenda Hurst, no relation.
That's my mom.
Shout out to Brenda. And we want to give a very special shout out to a new fan, Mr. David Flores.
Woo woo,
What's up,
David Flores. Shout out to David
all of you.
Flores.
Thank you guys very much. You're helping keep the lights on in this vault. It's very dark in here most of the time, but we like it when you guys help us out. And you can do so by going over to patreon.com/The Walt Vault. That's where you can find our after show, A Crack in the Vault, where we talk about the more adult things.
Crack in
Disney
the vault.
movies.
Crack in the vault.
There's no cracks today, though. So,
Are there not?
What do you mean?
oh, there are cracks.
What? You can't just like uncrack the
Yeah.
vault.
Oh.
There's a crack. I'll be peeking through that crack.
Oh.
He just gave away part of the crack.
So head over to patreon.com/The Walt Vault. Subscribe for as little as $1 a month. It doesn't have to be much. You're not even going to notice it missing, honestly. And
but
you'll
Andre will notice it coming
I will
in.
appreciate it because it does help pay for our podcasting fees and stuff like that. So help us out. We appreciate it. We love you guys. If you don't want to do that, though, you can just follow us on normal social media. You can head over to Instagram. We are at The Walt Vault Pod on there. That's where all the action is happening. That's where you can vote on stuff and interact with us and talk to us and be our friends. You can also follow us on Twitter at The Walt Vault Pod, or you can like us on Facebook at The Walt Vault Pod. And if you want to ask us a question or maybe, give us some advice or ask for something, you can slide into our DMs
Stop it.
on any of those social media platforms. Did you have something to say, Michelle?
On our YouTube page, we had a lovely, lovely comment about
That's right. I don't
Roger
remember
Rabbit
this.
that we wanted to read.
Do you have it up?
I do.
All right. Hit it.
Go for it.
Oh, I'm going to read it?
Yes, because I don't have it. Okay, so we have a comment from our YouTube channel on our Roger Rabbit episode. This comment comes from a man named Olivier. I won't say your last name for privacy reasons in case that's something you have a problem with. He says, your reactions to the Toon Shoe murder are understandable. After some research, here's my idea why Doom might do this. The movie wants to present Doom as the overlord of Toontown, the hanging judge, you might say, like a general or a feudal lord. Killing his subjects are his right, even, for example. While this scene shows not only the power of the dip, but also Doom's authority over police, it lacks in subtlety about legal issues and all this. Remain in peace, Shoe. That's my favorite part of the thing.
R.I.P.
Remain in
Shoe.
peace, Shoe.
Which is totally what I said too, because we
Shoe.
were so upset about the shoe murder. We
Right,
were like,
yeah.
R.I.P. Shoe.
So Doom is pulling it as a power move.
Thanks,
apparently.
Olivier.
Well, let's
Yeah.
be honest.
It's a
I
great
feel like
comment.
that's what Jafar does, too. He's pulling all his
Oh, yeah.
his magic power once he becomes Sultan.
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The sorcerer.
And the
Sorcerer at the end.
sorcerer. Oh, definitely. He's
Oh,
very
dude, he's like
Doom-like.
a Dumbledore level magician when he becomes a sorcerer.
Oh, totally.
Oh,
That'd be
100.
a good fight. Oh, sub
Da
battle.
da da da. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what would be really good is like Jafar pops in the new movie and it's just like, Janir, Jafar, what's up? I'm here.
Wherever you are.
Jafar, wherever you are.
We've made that reference so many times.
It's
Several
one of my
times.
favorite things.
It is freaking
Especially
Hilarious.
when it's a meme and it's, Leonardo
Yeah.
over the top of Jafar holding him.
You know what's
Very
you know what's
tenderly.
also going to be hilarious?
We don't need Kate Winslet.
When we see the picture of Luis as Daddy Jafar. Boom.
Oof.
Can't wait.
Good content right there. So yeah, thanks to Olivier for commenting on YouTube. You guys can go to YouTube where all of our episodes are there. You can subscribe to us there if you want. We're also on Stitcher and Google Play and every other place that you can get podcasts, but especially on iTunes, which is where we want you to leave us a review. If you go to Apple Podcasts app and just open it up and go to our show, go to reviews, leave us 5 stars. It's my favorite amount of stars, and then write us something nice because you're our friend. And we like you. And you like us. It's a
Do
match
they
made in
though?
heaven.
M-I-C. Why? Because we love you. That's what I thought of when he said it. 'cause
You
we
forgot
love
a K in there,
You're
I
our
think.
friends.
Um,
Well, I didn't finish the song, but that's what I thought of when you just said that.
oh, well. You guys, please subscribe to us. We like that a lot. And don't forget to go to patreon.com/thewaltvault. You can follow us there. But that's it for now. We'll see you next week.